Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of the day you are watching this broadcast. I want to welcome you to IAM Approach TV. We are going to have an engaging and an exciting program today. Thank you so much for stopping by. Please do me a favor. If you are listening via the IAM Approach podcast and you have any questions, any comments, the number is 214-908-3963. 214-908-3963. And the email is eternalkingdom101@gmail.com. eternalkingdom101@gmail.com. You may be wondering what you can do to help this initiative. There are three basic things you can do. They are not difficult. The first one is to share the content. If you like what you are hearing, don't keep it to yourself. Share, share, share. I will also appreciate if you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. That's going to help a lot. Please do that. And the third thing you can do, which I also strongly suggest you do, is to get a copy of my book, Racism, Where is Your Sting? A provocative look at the beginning and the end of racism. For you to understand where I'm coming from and for you to apply the solution that I am proposing, it will be good for you to read the book and get a 360-degree view of this issue of racism. This book was written in 2018 after I went to the library, saw my son interact with another kid from China who did not know how to speak English. However, they were able to get along very well. It then occurred to me that if children have figured it out how to get along, what's wrong with adults? I started thinking about it, and that drove me to writing about this subject. The other reason is that I wasn't born and raised in the United States of America, and I've realized that racism is not uniquely American. There's nothing special about America. Racism is universal. We need to understand that if we want to come up with a solution. I'm going to be talking from this book for the next, I don't know how long, how many months it's going to take, because I want to be meticulous. I want to move slowly. I want to make sure I'm laying my case point after point, precept upon precept, because this is a very charged subject and I'm going to be misunderstood. However, I want to lay my case out there so that those who will misinterpret what I'm saying, the facts will speak for themselves. I am not trying to stoke the fire of racism. I'm not here to pass the blame game. I'm not here to play victim and victor. Far from it. I have a simple solution that I'm proposing, that I'm presenting. It's going to be so simple that many people will not maybe consider it. But that doesn't really matter. Yesterday, I mentioned about the issue of births that was associated with women in Europe. In the past, a lot of women died after childbirth in the hospitals. The reason was that most of the doctors who helped to deliver babies were also surgeons. And these doctors will operate on cadavers, and they will bring those bacteria and contaminate these poor women that were giving birth to children. And when one of the doctors realized that simple washing of hands will prevent that issue, they didn't take him serious. I mean, this poor guy ended up in an asylum because they said he was crazy. 30 years later, the medical community finally turned around and embraced this basic solution, washing of hands, cut down the number of deaths significantly. You're going to realize, as I said yesterday, that some human beings think they are superior, and some human beings think they are inferior. That is where the problem lies. And today we are going to go back, way back, before the establishment of the colonies, way back before Christopher Columbus arrived the shores of the Americas, way back before the Roman Empire, way back before the beginning of history, and get an understanding of what went wrong. Why do some people have the need to feel that they are superior? What's wrong with them? And what is wrong with those who have been made to believe that they are children of a lesser God, that they are inferior, that are less human? While many may hide behind skin color and racism to propagate evil, we are going to unmask that and get to the root of the problem, then propose a solution. If somebody says, "You are a donkey," and the person saying it believes that you are a donkey, does that make you a donkey? Let me pose that question again. You meet somebody, the person says, "You are a donkey. I believe that you are a donkey. I'm going to call you a donkey. You are a donkey. I'm going to make you do the work of a donkey." Are you a donkey because somebody says that you are a donkey? Don't you think that person has a problem? Don't you think the person is looking at you and ascribing you to be a donkey? Don't you think they have a problem? The problem is not with you, because you know that you are not a donkey, you don't sound like a donkey, you don't look like a donkey. And that is why it is so important. We will never be able to get out of this quagmire if people continue to believe the wrong thing. It is written, "Be transformed by the renewal of your mind." Be transformed by the renewal of your mind. Without a renewed mind, without the right belief system, you are lost. And that is why it is so critical, it is so important to understand some basic truths. It's been so ingrained in us. As I said yesterday, we just go along with the labelings, we go along with the terminology. You hear the colored people. Have you met the colorless ones? What on earth is colored people? Who doesn't have color in their skin? Who is not colored? And how dare we call some colored? It's just like the white and the black. You have black pride. I don't know. I'm still to meet people who are really black. Per the word black. Don't misunderstand me. I don't have anything against colors. However, color has come to mean something more than what it is, as we are going to see. And that is why I'm challenging you to think thoroughly about what you hear, what you believe. If somebody tells you that you are inferior, what do they mean by that? You believe it? Why? Oh, they made me do it. I'm feeling like this because they called me this. Really? I'm going to repeat this illustration that I used yesterday before we move ahead. When I was a kid, we had no indoor plumbing. Yes, so that is not an issue. I'm not saying that you should pity me because we had no indoor plumbing. Indoor plumbing comes with its own challenges. We used to go to the stream in the morning. Yeah, no warm showers. You take off your clothes, put them on the bank of the river, you jump into the pool, and you take a bath. In Cameroon, where I was raised, we don't tie up those that are mentally deranged. They roam the streets. And my dad used to say, if a madman picks your clothes, puts them on, and is running away with them, will you chase behind the madman naked? If you do, everybody will think you are mad because you are the one running behind somebody who is fully clothed. You are running around naked and saying, oh, the madman made me do it. The madman made me run around naked. The madman made me do it. Really? If you are in your right senses, you do what people in the right senses do. You're not going to be running around naked. There's no justification to say, oh, because he stole my clothes, I'm going to run around naked. No, you go look for another set of clothes, put them on, then you chase behind the madman and collect what is yours. What I'm saying is this: if somebody says you're a donkey, somebody says you're inferior, so what? Must you accept it? Unfortunately, we've heard this over and over, and we've been programmed to believe a lie. I'm going to debunk that lie today. Stay with me, because they are no children of a lesser God. We are all equal. Although we have different abilities, different gifts, different talents, it doesn't make anybody superior, doesn't make anybody inferior, because what God has created and said it is good. It is really good. We're going to start today with an interesting quote by Robert Roger Ebert. Today, I'm going back to the beginning, and I will be talking about no race is superior to the other. By the way, there's only one human race. Parents and schools should place great emphasis on the idea that it is all right to be different. It's all right to be different. Racism and all the other isms grow from primitive tribalism, the instinctive hostility against those of another tribe. Here, instinctive. Yesterday I said there is a tendency in all of us to be racist. All of us to be racist. I included, and you watching me. We have a tendency because we like to gravitate towards people who look like us, who eat like us, who talk like us, who dance like us, who believe like us. We like to discriminate. But this discrimination becomes bad when we use it as an excuse to oppress, to take advantage, to suppress, to mistreat, to kill, to lynch. However you look at it, other people, that's where it becomes bad. And it's been manifested globally as we speak, both in the past and now. Hostility against those of another tribe, race, religion, nationality, class, or whatever. You are a lucky child if your parents taught you to accept diversity. I was fortunate, blessed, that I went to a mission boarding school, Our Lady Seat of Wisdom College, where I was exposed to diversity at a very young age. My math teacher was from Madagascar. My English teacher was from England. My religious knowledge teacher was from Scotland. My chemistry teacher was from France. My physics teacher was from Germany. And there were other Cameroonians teaching there as well. I grew up in diversity. Cameroon has more than 200 different ethnic groups that speak 200 different languages. We don't all dress the same. We don't believe the same. We don't eat the same. And that is why we need to move slowly and begin to understand where all these divisions are coming from. And for people to dare believe that melanin, the pigmentation of our skin, can be used to define who we are is absurd and it's very unfortunate. I don't want you to continue believing a lie. You shall know the truth, and the truth will set you free. You shall know the truth, and the truth will set you free. It has often been said that if we fail to understand history, we are doomed to repeat it. Nothing is truer to this than in the area of racism, because racism has been part of human history for thousands of years. Although some may erroneously try to make us feel as if racism is fairly a new concept, it is from the dawn of time. Racism is not new. In the past, the term racism was not used to refer to the manifestation of this evil behavior. I'm calling racism evil because anything that distorts that which God has called good is trying to corrupt what God has made. The only appropriate word for such an action is evil. We're going to see that when God created everything, He said, it is good. And if God calls something good and somebody there says that it's not good, they have a serious problem. While there are a thousand different ways to approach this subject of racism, tribalism, and ethnocentrism, we're going to get into what is tribalism, ethnocentrism, nationalism, and all the isms that are interplay here. We'll touch them. I have chosen a more holistic approach that will incorporate both the physical and spiritual components of this issue. I come from the school of thought that we are not just material, we have a spiritual side, and I'm going to be drawing these two together, both the physical and the spiritual, to let you understand what went wrong. We are going to be using the term racism in a more encompassing and broader fashion to include all the tendencies of superiority and inferiority complexes that are driven by fear and propagated by fear. The core of racism is the interplay between superiority complex and inferiority complex. And it's usually driven by fear. That is why if not receive the spirit of fear, but of a sound mind and boldness. Now, before we get into the definition of racism, it's important to have a baseline, right? I want to establish the baseline today. It's very important because without establishing a 0 point, we'll never know if we've made any progress or not, isn't it? You would have thought after electing the so-called first Black president in America, we would have made some progress. No progress. That is why we need to establish a baseline, and we'll be talking from that baseline. And I want you to understand what my own baseline is. You mustn't necessarily accept it, but I'm going to be speaking from that baseline. That is my worldview. Because it's shocking why some people think, oh, dude, you are being oppressed and you don't even know it. Maybe, but what do you mean by oppression? What is a baseline? How are you measuring what you're talking about? And that is why I'm trying to establish a baseline today. We're going to keep referring to that baseline as we move forward from today. I believe that we are not a result of some cosmic accident. We're not just a result of some chance, something just happened out of a sudden, we just appeared by accident. Because believing that we are the result of an accident and are just living by the dictates of our instincts, it will be difficult for us to see any reason why we should not follow our instincts and discriminate against other people, right? Please, this is so important. If we are just a result of an accident ruled by our instincts, then why is it wrong for us to discriminate? Who says that is wrong? How dare you? How do you even know it's wrong? What makes you think if it's just survival of the fittest, if we're driven by just the desire to pass our genes to the next generation and the strong eat the weak or whatever, if that is what is driving us, then why do we even have this conversation? Nothing will prevent us from taking advantage of other people as long as it guarantees that we move ahead. If all what is driving us is the need to move ahead, then everything goes. In other words, if all that we are here to do is pass our genes to the next generation, then all this talk about racism and being able to live together in harmony and love is baseless. There's no basis to it. If survival is all that we are engineered to do, then everything else must be sacrificed on the altar of survival, including love for one another. If our ultimate goal and purpose in life is to pass our genes to the next generation. If all we are here to do is to ensure that our genes are moved to the next generation and that we survive, then everything else must be sacrificed for this purpose. I don't believe that. On the contrary, I am of the school of thought that mankind was created and each one of us has a unique purpose. Without a firm understanding of this fundamental truth, it is almost impossible to grapple with racial issues, much less come up with workable solutions. If you don't accept that you are created by a creator who designed you, have a purpose in mind, and that you have meaning, your life has meaning, it becomes a little challenging to just and that is why at the root of the superiority and inferiority complex is the question of where am I from? Who am I? What am I doing here? I will try to answer that. I will try that to the best of my ability. We are created in God's image. Everybody is created in God's image. And it's very important for us to understand that. Now, let's go back before there were any humans on earth. The time when there were no black, white, Hispanic, Asian, Aboriginal, American Indians, you name it, the yellow, the white, the green. Let's go before the first humans appeared. In the beginning, after God created the entire universe and earth, a decision was made by God himself to create mankind. God created everything, and the apex of creation was man. I mean, some people don't like to talk about this. That's fine. If you think you're the result of some cosmic accident, that's fine with you as well. I am not. And that is why don't dare tell me somebody's oppressing me and that I'm inferior and I don't know. I am created in the image and likeness of God. I am a child of God. I am hidden in Christ and Christ in God. That's what I believe. I don't need your approval. I don't need you to make me more than what I am because I know who I am. And that is why I'm here to say that God made a decision to create us. And this is what is written in Genesis chapter 1, verse 29. It says, Then God said, Let us make mankind in our image, in our likeness. Let's make mankind in our image and in our likeness, so that they may rule over the fish in the sea and the birds in the sky, over the livestock and all the wild animals, and over all the creatures that move on the ground. God made us with a purpose for us to rule. We are not an accident, and were never intended to be, because God did not only purpose that we be created, He actually went ahead and created us. God spoke all the other things. He said, let there be, let there be, let there be this, let there be that, let there be this. When He came to creating mankind, He actually went down to work. So God created mankind in His own image. In the image of God, He created them, male and female, He created them. The man is not superior to the woman, and the woman is not inferior to the man. The woman is not superior to the man, and the man is not inferior to the woman. Can I say that again? So God created mankind in His own image. In the image of God, He created them, male and female. Both male and female created in the image and likeness of God. The male and the female. I mean, these days is so much confusion. Let's not call the woman or birthing humans or whatever name you give. It's not going to change anything. We are all equal, not the same. None is superior, none is inferior. We are all equal. We have different rules, we look different, and that is fine because we have different functions, we have different assignments. And that is to be celebrated, to be honored, to be respected. Men should not be trying to be women, and women should not be trying to be men, because none have an advantage. Create it like that. When he created the male and the female in his image and likeness, he gave them dominion. He said, rule and subdue. God didn't say we should rule over one another. Let me go back to that scripture and read it to you again. Then God said, let's make mankind in our image, in our likeness, so that they may rule over the fish. They, he's referring to male and female, to rule over the fish in the sea, the birds in the sky, over the livestock, and all the wild animals, and all the creatures that move on the ground. God said they should rule, but that they shouldn't, he didn't say we should rule over each other. The issues we're having today stem from the fact that we are tampering with this order that God established. God said after he created male and female and everything, he said it was good. You don't need to believe the lies of somebody telling you you are the child of a lesser God. You don't need to believe that. You've been created in the image and likeness of God, and you are not inferior. We are going to debunk some of the ideas that the Bible has been used to propagate, like the idea of the black race being cursed. That's not true. It's a lie from the pit of hell. If you believe that, today should be a day to be set free. There's no single scripture, nowhere, that says that the black race has been cursed. The Bible does not teach color. It doesn't. It doesn't. It's not highlighted. And we're going to see that what we are suffering from today is a manifestation of deeper evil, more deeper than racism. Racism is just a physical manifestation of evil. Now we've gone to the beginning. When God created mankind, he said, it's good. And we are all created in the image and likeness of God. And that is why we have to look at each other from that vantage point. If other people fail to look at you from the understanding that you've been created in the image and likeness of God, you don't need to worry about them. Do you believe that you are created in the image and likeness of God? Do you believe that? If you believe that, fine. Then don't allow the attitude and expectation of other people to become your reality. Know who you are, stand on it, and live it out. Tomorrow, we are going to continue. And we'll be talking about how this beautiful set of that God created went south? What happened? That this harmony that existed between man and woman, between man, woman, and God, what happened? That this fellowship was broken, and the implications of that on us, and the issue of racism. I want to thank you so much for watching today. I'm here to provide solutions from a certain vantage point. I have presented a baseline, and the baseline is this: we are not the result of some accident. We've been created in the image and likeness of God. I don't expect everybody to accept this baseline, but that is a point of view that I'm coming from, and I'll be speaking from this baseline onwards. If you disagree, that is fine. And as I've said, I've already been called a lot of names. If you think doing it is going to make you feel fine, fine. But it's not going to bother me any. What I want is genuine dialogue. If you think we are some result of an accident, please justify it. If you have questions for me, the phone number is 214-908-3963. Text me, call. The email is eternalkino101@gmail.com. Send your emails coming, make comments. Let's continue this conversation, because racism is tearing us apart. Not talking about it is not helping. And being shy to engage is not helping either. I want to thank you for your time. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Don't forget to share the content, and stay tuned. I'll be coming online live Monday, Saturday for the next couple of months dealing with this issue. You have been listening to Dr. Eric Tangumonken with I Am Approach, where we inspire, equip, and motivate people to discover God's great potential in them, develop that potential, and deploy it. Until next time, God bless you. Stay tuned. I can't interact with you right now because we are streaming this on multiple channels. However, if you leave your comments, I'm going to get back to them. Thank you very much.